Hello and welcome back to another episode of Tarot and Tea with the beautiful Kate May. And it is Scorpio season. Oh, can't wait to talk about this. But first, Kate, how are you?
Yes, I'm all good. Very busy. I've apart from having work things in the house going on, which is just completely, when your house is getting done, it's all like topsy-turvy, and there's only pockets of rooms that are all right to be in. Um, I've also started, was it last month, to learn, I can't remember if I said it last time, to learn Feng Shui. So I'm training as a Feng Shui practitioner, which is amazing, but it's really, I've got it now, but it's took a while for the penny to drop as far as the mapping and the compass points. And then today I was thinking, and I'm running, trying to do a full-time course with a full-time job and then all the stuff of the house. Today I was thinking, why is it so hectic? What's going on with all the planets? And then I thought, Scorpio season. Scorpio is my midheaven, my 10th house. So I was like, and I'm having rebranding done on my website. So I was like, oh yeah, the penny dropped. Like that's why, because Scorpio season is normally quite chilled for me. It's normally just moving into like the Christmas vibe, settling down, tying up loose ends for the time of year. But it just feels mental. And then today I was like, oh, okay, I remember now. So I'm guessing there's a little bit more action going on in my 10th house this time than usual there, and probably in the fourth house as well, but I haven't even checked that. But it'll be all good on the night. In a couple of weeks, it'll all be done and I'll be able to breathe.
Yeah.
Okay. But I love Scorpio season. I love it. We have our clocks change here this weekend. So they go backwards. So it's all dark and cozy. So I get in from work and straight on with the pajamas, curtains are closed, and I love it. Fire goes on. It's a really like real autumnal here at the moment. And it's quite warm in the day, so it's just chilly in the evening, but it's nice with the fire on. And then we're moving into that darker, slow, well, meant to be darker, slow down season as we prepare for the winter months. But it's just a bit slower than usual to slow down at the minute there. But it's all good. I can't complain. How
Yeah.
about you? How was your last month?
Busy. Oh my gosh, like talk about social. I had guests every weekend. I've been kind of going nonstop. I hosted a big event. 27 women came to my house for my live champagne channeling, which was just amazing. Like I didn't have any nerves or anything. It was in all the women. Oh my gosh, like you'd think that we had all known each other for decades. Like it's when it's it is about the host, right? It's like an event is only going to be as good as the intention of the container. And I really do have that high integrity of people that are not only coming to, do the work, but coming into my own home. And so I just feel like I attracted these amazingly powerful, magnetic, spiritually awakened women. And then you get, almost 30 of us in a group together, and it was so powerful. But yeah, it's Libra season felt like fanciful and lovely and expansive and social and beautiful, and I'm happy.
Good. That's good to hear.
Yeah. But hearing you speak, okay, I have a question. Because I think the listeners might want to know this. So I have Scorpio ruling my fourth house, but we know that the house of Scorpio is the eighth house. And so in that eighth house, I have my moon at 29 degrees. And so when we're in Scorpio season, I know to look at the house that Scorpio is ruling. So for mine, it's the fourth, and for yours, it's the 10th. And but then it also influencing the eighth house always, because that is the house of Scorpio.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's the house of change, regeneration, transition. And that's what we do, whether you're in the southern hemisphere or northern hemisphere, it's still going to be a transition. We're going into the darker, they're going into the light. So it is a period of transition, and one way or another, whether it's new opportunities, but it is all about letting go to bring in those new opportunities as well. So there's a lot of tidying up, and whether, if you're on the southern side and you're looking to the spring, that's the time when everyone starts tidying up and getting ready and clearing. But definitely in the north, Northern Hemisphere, we're like, your gardens, because you've got all the trees that have now shedding their leaves. So you've got the mess of that needs clearing. I always like to have the garden really tidy just in case it snows, because I like to think that it's going to snow on a nice clean canvas and not thinking, oh my God, I should have cleaned that leaf pile, or I should have pruned that tree a little bit more. I like to have it all done. And we never have snow. And if we do, it's normally about March or April. But just in case, I like to, in my head, think, oh, it's going to be a nice clean blanket. So there's a lot of, I think, shredding, getting rid, decluttering in general. And because, I'm now like in this feng shui head. So I'm so big on this decluttering, but also fixing or getting rid. And I can't look at a house now without knowing bits and pieces, even down to like rooftops. I'm out walking and I'm like, oh, I wonder if they're a sitting or facing house. So it's opened my mind hugely, but more than normal. But I think that Scorpio season is definitely a transition time, and we do go within when we ever have any kind of shredding or times of decluttering, we tend to go in and think, well, what do we want next? So it's, for me, Libra season is getting the balance between the relationships, the home and the work. Scorpio's a bit more working on the internal stuff. We've done that now. We've got the balance, hopefully. And we've sort of worked where we were with partnerships or social. And now it's a little bit more working on ourselves, I think, preparing for that next chapter, whatever's going to be there. And Scorpio, they say like the sexy sign, and the secretive sign. So it's a time, that big full moon in Aries that we had the other week. Huge. We had, Aries is the beginning of the zodiac sign. Full moons are letting go and shedding and bringing things to light. But Aries, because it's the first, it's all about new beginnings. So it was a real mix of like letting go and then new beginnings. And now we're in that place of moving forward there, ready for new things. But it's a mixture of, getting rid of the old and awakening new opportunities, I think, all around. So
Mhm.
it feels quite exciting, but it almost feels for me like I'm racing against the clock a bit. And I mean, I love Halloween, Samhain, I love that. And I've never had January as my new year ever. It's always been September. And I think that's just because it's the school new year. So you have that mindset. I always like birthdays. Birthdays are always a reset for me. But I also have it coming up till now to the end of October when we have Samhain. That's my new year. So I try and get everything done and sorted, I think, by the end of October, so that I can really enjoy November and December. December to me is like, big on families and shopping. I love the Christmas shopping, and all the socializing. So I like to have everything sorted way before then, 6, 7 weeks before December, so I can enjoy it. So yeah, it just feels internally shifting, I'll probably say, with a touch of intuitive, extra heightened emotions going on.
Yeah. I've been getting a download recently that I've been really working with, and it's just the message like, Jenny, you are eternally spirit. You're eternally your soul. You are temporarily human, and you have to come back to the body and really allow yourself to deeply feel and be more embodied with the story and what I've experienced, so I can heal on a deeper level, so I can be more spiritually embodied. Because whatever we're avoiding in the body, whether it's, trauma, our past, our conditioning, really does take us away from embodying the soul and really having our gifts come to their true potential. And so I think that it's like this invitation to be curious on how much more my gifts are going to expand through coming home to my body and going into the deep unconscious of this lifetime.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it's interesting because, we've got to have the human experience within that spiritual body. And we forget sometimes and can end up, especially when like you and I are working with spirit every day, we forget sometimes actually we need to be here for the human experience. We need to stop, be grounded. That's what our soul's here for. We know already the spiritual stuff, we're just interested in that. Our soul is here to experience the human stuff. So it's nice this time of year, I think, to slow and recognize, let's get out in nature, let's experience the change of season, let's do some human bonding and human things to help our soul grow there. So yeah, and with everything going on in the world, all the chaos, there comes a point when I've had lots of people saying, worried about this, worried about that, or the external things, and I'm like, what can you do about it? Either you're going to have to go out and fight these countries, or you can send your healing, create a healing circle. You can't quite change the channel and forget that it's going on. Some people say do that, but you can't really, because it's still going on. It's still in the background. But you don't have to make it your reality, because unless you're going to go out there and do something about it physically, it's not your reality. That trauma is other people's realities. And we've got to be really careful that we don't invite that into our reality, because all that's going to do is double the effect. Then we're going to start sharing things and fearing, and that's going to expand it even more. So having a word and just grounding and being like, do you know what, that's not my reality, whatever it is, and recognizing what your reality is a bit of breath of fresh air to take back your power for sure there. And if you do want to do something about it, that we know that vibration works. Set up a healing circle if you've got friends, or if you want to talk about things going on in the world, set up a healing circle, do your bit that way, but remember to live in your reality. And it's okay to still enjoy things. It's okay to still take pleasure in certain things, even though, that's going on. That isn't actually your real world. That's for them to go through. And all we can do is our best towards that. So I think it's coming off the back of that balance, and as we get to the change of the light, when for us it's gonna have less light now, it's kind of that I think that point of recognizing our inner light and our power inside, not necessarily we need in the outside world to light us up, but we need the inside us to light us up. And we can only do that by being human, and by taking back those human experiences, really. There's a lot more people that are becoming awake. There's a lot more people that are understanding, I believe now. And it's a lot more easier to have these sort of conversations going. So that's really good. I was talking to a lady today, and we were talking about the movement and books actually. And she was saying, like, the tarot and astrology is just huge, but more people are moving into the manifestation way of life. What can we create? Our thoughts create our reality. More and more people are moving into that. Our mind does work in a certain way and it can create our reality. However, a thought will become whatever we want it to become. And she said that's the general movement, is getting wider on, we can choose now, we've got a bit more power, and we're coming out of that Capricorn energy, moving into the Aquarius energy. I don't think we've got any more retrogrades now. I think we're into the Aquarius now, and that's just freer thinking, or that might take some of us a little bit longer. That restriction and limitations off. We've got that inner power. That is all boils down to, the seven principles, really. Personal responsibility, and when you understand, like, that you've got that inner light and the power, and that you can create your reality, that's so empowering. You really have to stop and think, wow, actually I can do anything. I can absolutely do anything. It's your mind and the energy is really important. But I think more and more people are coming into that set. And I think definitely as we move into that Aquarius energy and this eighth house Scorpio influence of transition, I'm touching wood, it will be a lot easier and fluid for people.
I love that you brought up that don't make the trauma and the drama in the world your reality, because I just had two friends here, they were visiting from LA, and they were telling me all about, I don't know if you guys follow all the like P Diddy stuff and all the stuff that's
Mm.
coming out, and
Yeah.
I could not believe some of the stuff they were telling me. I don't watch that stuff, I don't read that stuff. And I said, I was like, I don't think it's better for the world for me to know this. Like, I
Mm.
don't think that I'm the type of person that's going to benefit the world by knowing this information. I just don't, because of how much I expand when I prioritize pleasure and beauty and speaking from the depths to help promote healing. And so we laughed about it because I do feel like there's some people that can hold it and not hold it, they can digest it well and like take it in and then let it go, where I feel like I do actually hold it and I don't want to, and I don't want to know that stuff, and I think it's okay.
Absolutely. I'm okay with detaching, and I think it's because of the readings that I do every day. They're not, it's not my stuff. So I've learned over the years, there's odd ones that play on your mind, but especially if there's children and domestic violence, I can't help but play on your mind. But in general, I'm quite good at um not taking on other people's stuff really. Cole, he was really getting into all of on TikTok, all of the stuff that's going on around the world, and it was really affecting him. And it probably started in about June time. He just got really into it, and it was only about a month ago, 6 weeks ago, that he came out of it because he'd asked somebody else, like, how do you stop your head getting involved? And she was like, we just change the channel. If you don't watch Coronation Street, it's still going on, but just switch the channel. And I was like, it's not as easy as that when it's people's lives at stake. It's a bit more deeper than just switching the channel. So then I had a conversation with my guides and my head, and that's when I came up with, like, you don't have to let it to be your reality. I said to Cole, either go out there and fight, go out there and do something about it. Obviously he's not, so then there's no point getting in a stew about it, but you can send healing, and then at least you feel like you're doing something. But he's like you, super sensitive, so he absorbs it all, and it absolutely affects him. So I think there's people out there that are made for that and that can go and do that, and then there's other people that are made for other things, and that's absolutely all right. And it's not that we're burying our head in the sand and not acknowledging it. Oh my God, the P Diddy stuff. I keep meaning to do a YouTube video on that. I will do when I get 5 minutes. I mean, that's been going on in the background for a long time, and he's not going to go down on his own. There's going to be plenty more. He's absolutely going to be taking more people with him. But we're just on the iceberg. There was every time something comes up in the media where it seems to address trafficking and all of those drug situations, but mainly trafficking, there seems to be something else that quickly comes in over the top of it to change our mind, or to, oh, we're going to be looking at that. So I'm not even sure if the P Diddy thing is a cover up. I believe he's done it, but I don't know if it's a cover up for something else, because another week they were talking about something else. So I think there's lots and lots of things that we're shown that they want us to see that we don't see. But we send ourselves mad if we think about it all, absolutely mad. And you'd be like not trusting anyone. So I think it comes back to that personal responsibility of knowing who you are, like you say, knowing that it's not going to serve you. What's it going to do if you're a mess? You can't help people to heal in the job that you do. You're not going to be able to be a great mum because you're going to be in a mess. It doesn't serve you. So I think we have to recognize that it's okay to not make it part of our life. Do something a little to help, because that's going to make you feel better. But all you're going to do is create more chaos, because you'll be sharing that information. He was sharing that information on the TikTok, sharing this, sharing this. And I'm like, half of it's probably edited, Cole, anyway, you don't know. But you're projecting that. And then when you project that energy, someone else will pick it up. Oh my God, have you seen this? Then they'll pick it up. And that's a negative vibration that's being fed, and you're just feeding that influence. And that's what they want at the end of the day. If we don't feed it, if we starve it, it's going to lessen, but it's increasing because we're feeding it. So I think we have to come to the point where we're not going to feed that. It's not good for our soul, not going to feed it to anyone else, because it's not going to help anyone else. And in the bigger picture, the universe knows what it's doing there. So just step back and take control of your little bubble and your life, and do our, I've said forever, I think our purpose is for our soul to be happy and to do things we like. I don't think we're here to have challenges that we are. I think the world is challenging enough anyway. I think we create more than enough challenges for ourselves. Our soul is here to experience joy, love, and happiness. None of the other stuff. The other stuff creeps in, and we've been conditioned to believe that our soul is here to experience trauma, experience this. But who told us that? We've just been drip fed that. Instead, no one's told us we're here to experience joy. We've always been, we can only remember the negative stuff. So I think we need to really, and I think we will start to change our mindset. The more joy we bring into our souls and the more we do things we enjoy, the more simpler life is going to be. And that's what we'll project. The love, the happiness, the next person will feel it, and the next person will feel it. And that will eventually water down all that chaos, in my opinion, in my fluffy opinion. There, it works for me.
I agree with you. I think that it's also like feminine energetics. Like the more that you focus on your pleasure, the more that you will expand. But being
Absolutely.
raised in this environment, there's a lot of projection around like safety. And so we really do get attached to what will make us safe, what will prevent this from happening. And all of this is going to come up this season because of Scorpio. So the shadow aspect of Scorpio is going to be more cynical, could be depressed, could be woe is me, could be jealousy, could be envy, could be, these things that are going to make you feel small and stagnant. And what I invite us all to do is realize that if we do experience those things, they all do have wisdom and a deep lesson, and we can choose to zoom out and have an internal lens and realize that this too shall pass. And just like a tree, like if you go to the deepest roots of the tree, it's going to be dark and cold and lonely and isolating. And that's what Scorpio season, Scorpio energy invites us to do. But to remember, as deep as you go, there's also a limb that is having the sun heat it and have beautiful leaves fluttering and dancing. And so if you can accept the polarity and the duality of life, then you can always know that the only reason why you would have roots or trauma or depression or pain or whatever is going on is because it is the balance of the human experience, but your soul is love. Your soul is joy. Your soul is the one, and we can return to that at any moment. And that's why we work with the world of spirit, is because we want to know who we are, and that frequency is love, I believe.
Yeah. And
There's my
that
fluffy opinion.
in Scorpio, I mean, the shadow side is, finding out about yourself, warts and all, the part of you that you don't like, and being all right with that. I've got a trait that's not nice. I'm well aware of it. Taurus, known for being manipulative. Um, I've got a real strong manipulative streak. When I was younger, I wasn't aware of it. So it came out a lot more. But once you work with your shadow side and you find out about yourself, I'm like, okay, I've got that part of me. So now I know how to handle it and not to let it come in to my reality there, because it's not obviously something that you want to highlight, being manipulative, but it is part of who I am. I have got that. So, it's a really good time now to like figure out the shadow, the darker parts about yourself, the parts that you don't like. And
Yeah.
it really helps with relationships, because then the people that get on your nerves, when you ask yourself, like, why do they get on my nerves? It's usually because they're projecting something that you're not allowed to, that you've hidden, that you've shadowed. So once you've worked on that beautiful shadow side and sent it light, those people don't annoy you anymore. Situations don't annoy you anymore, because you've healed that part, you've recognized that part, so you're not jealous or irritated by it in any way. You just accept it. So this is a really good month to go deep and down. I was going to say deep and down on yourself, but that probably would come out wrong. I don't know if I could reach that anymore. I'm nearly 50. But you know what I mean. This is
Oh,
time to go within. Whatever I say now is not going to sound the
I'm gonna
same.
take this clip and put this is gonna be its own reel on Instagram. This is too good. Welcome to Scorpio season. Oh, we're
Yeah,
all
down and
getting
deep.
deep with ourselves.
How
Okay,
flexible are you?
let's do some cards. So
Yeah.
we'll start with you. 3 tarot cards. Let's see what we got going on. I'm gonna start feeling in over here. Feeling in. This is just gonna keep getting naughtier. Uh,
Right, so let's have a think then. The seasons vibes for everybody. Okay, so the Eight of Wands comes out first. Now, the Eight of Wands for me, it is busy. The Eight of Wands is all about opportunities, though, flying in. So, although things may feel like for a lot of people that everything is a little bit up in the air, it will all fall into place. Usually, for me, this has a span of about 8 weeks as a rule. So, everything is all these ideas, the action, everything's just, like we said, a bit chaotic at the minute. And you've got your, if it still goes ahead, you've got your election, haven't you, next month as well? So for me, this is a positive card in expansive opportunities. And while everything is a little bit up in the air, the ground, the land, it will all fall into place. So it's like trust the process. But opportunities are coming knocking, and they could come thick and fast. So if you're not careful, you could miss them. If you're too busy with your head somewhere else, you could miss them. So it's really important to stand back, smell the roses, and look for these opportunities. It's a good card for travel, very good card for wanting to move things forward. It's a great card to put on your altar if you want to manifest movement. So exciting opportunities. Let's have a look at the next one. Okay, strength card. So here it's we're going to need some strength. Now the strength card is inner power for me and raw power. It's got the mix of the masculine and the feminine. And in this particular case, the feminine wins. This is about not throwing your toys out the pram. I think we've had it before, not being aggressive, but being very tactful with yourself, gentle with yourself, but gentle with others. And while things may feel fast moving and quite busy, be gentle, be kind. And this is a love wins over hate card, so it just reflects everything that we've spoke about. But it's like that, using your feminine power, your female energy, that soft energy to tame situations. So we want to be calm and gentle and tactful. Find our courage. Okay. And then we have the Nine of Wands. Now, the Nine of Wands is we're getting through this. The Nine of Wands is we might feel a bit battered and bruised. We might feel exhausted and we want to give up. But this is like persevere. As a nine, it's saying we're almost there. Keep on going. You're through the worst. And you can see things clearer now than what you could. So as it's not a 10, it's a 9. So it's saying we've still got a little bit more to go through, but we are definitely through the worst. There's no more going around in circles, banging your head against a wall. It's more clarity, and it's a card of perseverance. So actually, these all quite blend well with great opportunities, things happening, but we're going to need strength and tact to be able to deal with those. And this could come in with changes as well. But by persevering and keeping going, we will reach that end goal and we will be able to breathe. Now, this is Sagittarius energy. Yeah, moon in Sagittarius. So as a rule, it has, for me, settling down. I said about 8 weeks. So as we come to the end of the year into that Sagittarian Capricorn energy, that's when we should start to really feel like we broke through, and we've got that light at the end of the tunnel, and we can just breathe. So if anyone is feeling like, oh my God, how much longer? It's really not that long. There is a door opening, and yes, like I said, you might be a bit bruised and battered from the journey, but it's you're through the worst, and there's definitely more hope and better things. And as a rule, from my readings that I've been doing for people, the general theme has been that January does look a bit more favorable all round, not just because it's a new year, but generally the energy is looking quite favorable from January. So keep persevering, guys. We've got this. We've got this.
Good. Good to know. I love that, and it makes me feel excited, but I also am not afraid of the deep work or the shadow work. So I just want to remind you guys, like, if there's anywhere,
Empowering.
what was it?
It's empowering.
Oh my gosh, so empowering. But if you're not used to it, it can feel debilitating. And I just want you guys to know, like, if you find yourself almost feeling like depressed, if you find yourself feeling like what is wrong with me, or I can't catch a break, or just any of the victim thoughts, I want you to just ask what part of you is speaking. Like, how old am I? Who is speaking right now? Because if you start to realize, like, that's not your story, that's just an attachment to a story that most likely happened a long time ago. And then we kind of funnel back into ourselves, into a part that is not necessarily going to benefit us in moving forward. So it can be an uncomfortable season, but just identify it for what it is, nurture yourself, and realize you are going to persevere.
TV keeps coming on.
TV keeps coming on.
Yeah, twice I turned it off and it came back on. Oh my God. And again, I'm just gonna.
Oh, spirit, I love you so much. All right, so the first thing is the animal spirit guidebook I was drawn to, and I got earthworm. So, I mean, earthworm for
Wow.
Scorpio season's very, very appropriate. I'm not familiar with this card, so I am going to read just really quick. It is about being shy, hesitant, reluctant to share your inner vision. We have all felt the woes of the earthworm at some point along the way. The earthworm indicates a newbie or a novice working to establish confidence in a new field. Others around you may seem wise and experienced, but it's important to remember that once felt earthworm energy too. This card is a reminder not to be intimidated or lose hope. Mastery takes time and you're on the right track. Besides, rumor has it a beginner's mind offers the most valuable insights. When in balance, earnest, intelligent, and valuable. When out of balance, self conscious and apprehensive. To bring into balance, speak up and risk embarrassment. So, this one I think is actually really, really appropriate. You think of earthworm being in the earth, like I was talking about earlier, and realizing that if you are on your spiritual journey and you're curious about your gifts, that spirit wants you to lean into them. Spirit wants you to come home to yourself. Spirit wants you to strengthen your gifts. So you have to get over the insecurities of not being right, offending, whatever their fear is around stepping into more of the depth of who you are. Try so hard to cognitively push it aside because the world of spirit is so, so, so ready for all of us to step more into our truth frequency. And once January comes, which Kate was just speaking, the North Node moves into Pisces, and it is a very spiritual journey and awakening for all of us to really unveil what we're capable of. So I like this. And I know that we are short on time. So I'm just going to do one more card because I feel like our messages are, they usually overlap anyway.
They do. And actually, it all goes in keeping with that, what I said about our reality. What is our reality and what are we creating with our mind? Yeah, there's a theme as
Yes,
you.
there is. Well, and this actually surprised me. So I'm going to let you guys kind of navigate this one. So I went with the Healing Waters Oracle card by Rebecca Campbell. And the card that came out actually was the Pink Dolphin, celebration, fun, unbridled joy, and an open heart. And so that is everything that Kate said at the beginning. So I think the reason why this card probably came through is to understand that you have a choice and that Scorpios can get a bad rap for being like dark and always in the shadow, but they're also deeply sensitive. They are a water sign and they can come above water. They can be the pink dolphin. And I think that this is just the polarity of this conversation. So allow yourself to go into, dark waters if you may, if you're on a lesson or on a journey of deep healing, but also you can be playful and you can come to, the consciousness aspect of it and come above water and play like dolphins do.
Yeah, I mean, Scorpio do get a bad rap actually, but they're usually very loyal. They're usually very good fun, and although they're deep, they do know how to let their hair down as well. There, so they just get a bad rap, I think, because of the sting in their tail, which yes, they do have, but we probably all do. Really, it's just heightened around Scorpios because it's a Scorpio.
Yeah. Yeah, and they feel things so deeply. So they're not going to just let the water roll off their back. They're going to feel everything to the depths of their core and deeper than any other sign. And so that's why it's important to look at where Scorpio is in your chart and you might be like, "Oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. I'm not sensitive in my relationships, but I get really, really offended at work when people don't value me and I get a little bit resentful at work, like it's like, how do you not see how hard I work? Or, like Scorpio is in my fourth house. It's all about family and my roots. It's like, yeah, I have very, very deep feelings and wounds about how I came into this world.
And
Yeah.
that's where all your transitions and that the changes that you've made from how you were brought in to what you've created. And that's huge, that transition, huge, and in a really positive way
Yeah.
there. It's so
Okay.
fascinating.
Any last messages for survival of Scorpio season?
Survival, is there any, I better be careful what I say now, actually. I would just say let's try and make things a bit lighter. Let's, yeah, if you've got depression, it's easier said than done. And if you're going through really traumatic things, but try and bring in something a little bit more that you enjoy, whether that's a good movie, whether that's just feeling a bit of sun on your face, whether it's like having a bit of chocolate dipped in your cup of tea, very English that is. Just do it. Just enjoy some pleasure as well. You know, yeah, take control of certain things, and in that control, choose some fun and pleasure.
Yes. And you guys know how much I love archetypes. So when I think of any water sign, you know, Pisces and Scorpio and even Cancer, I think of the mermaid and going into the depths, like really going into the depths. And so what I would invite you to do is what we just pulled, the pink dolphin. Because when I say pink dolphin, I feel a buzziness, I feel a playfulness, I feel a giddiness. And so if there is time where you're struggling, energetically ask spirits, please bring in the pink dolphin, please bring in this energy to help soothe me, support me, hold me, because I've gotten lost in the darkness and I need some assistance. And see what comes to mind for you. Like immediately I see the illuminating pink dolphin and the dark waters coming and circling me and reminding me that I too can see. And so those are just, you know, I always talk to the inner child, and so remember that in these moments you can access this type of energy and support yourself. And I think we're gonna do some deep healing this month. I can feel it.
I
It's
think
really
so.
beautiful.
And who wouldn't feel good thinking of a pink dolphin?
I
I
know.
mean, you just smile as soon as you think that. So I think pink dolphin is definitely the mantra for this month.
Yes, I love it. And I can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts and hear how this month goes. Kate, thank you always. I love you. I adore you. And I will
Thank
see
you.
you in Sagittarius season.
Sagittarius, which is a lot lighter, all being well. And don't forget, we are going to get through this. Where's that card? Stick
Yes.
it on your fridge. We are going to get through it. Persevere.
Nine of Wands, Nine of Wands. All right, Kate, I love you. And we will see you guys in the next
Thank
episode.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you.